The Milkmaid and Her Pail. A milkmaid was walking to the market with a pail of milk on her head. As she was walking, she started wondering about what she would do with the money she would get for the milk. She thought, "I will buy hens from the farmer. The hens will lay eggs every morning. Once the eggs have hatched, I will sell the chicks for money. With that money, I will buy a nice dress and wear it to the fair. Men will want to talk to me, and women will be jealous of me. I'll toss my hair like this." As she thought, she tossed her head back. The pail fell on the ground and the milk was spilled. The milkmaid was sad. She went back home and told her mother what had happened. Her mother replied, "My dear, do not count your chickens before they hatch." Moral of the story: you should not count on something before the sun and the wind. The wind and the sun were arguing who among them is more powerful. To settle their dispute, they agreed on a trial of strength. The sun said, "Let's see who can remove the shepherd boy's cloak from his back the quickest." The wind tried first. He started blowing strong gusts of air. The rabbit clung to the tree, and the sheep held the fence tight. The shepherd boy started shivering and held on to his cloak tighter. The harder the wind blew, the tighter the shepherd boy held on to his cloak. Finally, the wind gave up. It was the sun's turn. The sun started shining brighter and brighter. The shepherd boy felt very hot. He took off his cloak and sat under the shade of a tree. The wind angrily asked, "How did you do that?" The sun smiled and answered, "Gentleness can be more powerful than force." The wind accepted his defeat. Moral of the story: being gentle can be more powerful than using force. The Honest Woodcutter. A poor woodcutter was cutting a tree near a lake. His axe slipped from his hands and fell in the water. He couldn't get his axe back, so he started crying. A water spirit appeared from the lake and asked the woodcutter about his problem. The woodcutter told him about his axe. The spirit went inside the lake and came up with a golden axe. "Is this your axe?" he asked. The woodcutter replied, "No, it isn't." He dived again and came out with a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" he asked. The woodcutter replied, "No, it is not mine." The water spirit again went inside and came out with the woodcutter's iron axe. The woodcutter was really happy to see his own axe. "Yes, this is my axe," he said. The spirit was very pleased with the woodcutter's honesty. He gave the woodcutter all 3 axes as a reward. The woodcutter returned home and told his neighbors about what had happened. One of them was greedy and wanted the gold and silver axes. The next day, the greedy neighbor went to the same lake and threw his axe in the lake. The water spirit appeared from the lake holding a golden axe. He asked the man whether that axe was his. The woodcutter couldn't control his greed and said,
"Yes, this is my axe."
The spirit knew he was lying. He took the golden axe and vanished inside the water. The greedy man lost his only axe. He had learned his lesson. Moral of the story: honesty is the best policy. The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. Once, a town mouse was visiting his friend, the country mouse. For dinner, the country mouse served him only barley and grain. The town mouse pitied the country mouse and said, "You should come with me to the town. I'll serve you all sorts of fine food." The country mouse agreed to come with him. The next morning, both of them went together to the town. They arrived late at night. The town mouse suggested that they should eat after such a long journey. He took his friend to a grand dining room. The country mouse had seen nothing like it. The dining table was filled with the leftovers of a fine feast. They ate cakes, jellies, cheese, and everything nice. The country mouse was thinking about how lucky the town mouse is. Suddenly, they heard growling and both of them panicked. The town mouse shouted, "It's the cat! Run!" They ran as fast as they could. "I think I'll head back home," said the country mouse. "I'd rather have barley and grain and live in peace than eat cake and cheese and live in fear." Moral of the story: it is better to live in poverty and in peace than to have plenty and live in fear. The Fox and the Goat. One day, a fox fell into a well. He tried, but he was unable to get out. A thirsty goat came to the well and saw the fox inside. "Is the water good?" asked the goat. "Finest in the country," said the cunning fox. "Jump in and drink some." The goat jumped in and began to drink the water without paying any attention to the fox. The fox quickly jumped on the goat's back and leaped out of the well. The goat, realizing what trouble he had got into, begged the fox to help him out. "You foolish fellow. You should have thought of a way out before you jumped in," said the fox and ran away. Moral of the story: look before you leap. Think before you take any decision. The Lion, the Bear, and the Fox. A piece of meat was lying on the ground. A lion and a bear both saw it at the same time. The lion and the bear started fighting over the piece of meat. A fox saw them fighting for the piece of meat which was still untouched. He stood there waiting. After some time, the lion and the bear became tired fighting and sat down. The fox quickly seized the chance and ran to pick up the meat. The lion and the bear were too tired to do anything. They could just watch the fox eating the meat. Both of them thought,
It would have been much better to share the piece of meat.
Moral of the story: it's better to share than to fight over something. The Wolf and the House Dog. Once there was a wolf who was starving. He saw a healthy house dog passing by and greeted him humbly. The house dog saw the wolf's sad condition. He asked the wolf to accompany him to his master so that he can get some food. The wolf felt very lucky and immediately agreed. Suddenly, the wolf noticed that the hair on the dog's neck was worn and the skin was chafed.
What is this?
Asked the wolf, pointing at the dog's neck.
Oh, it's nothing,
Said the dog.
This is where the collar is put on to keep me chained up. Chained? Then goodbye to you, Master Dog,
Said the wolf and ran away into the woods. Moral of the story? There is nothing worth so much as liberty and freedom.
And his hen. Let us meet Farmer Ben. He has a hen in his farm. The hen lays white eggs and pecks on tasty seeds all day. The hen walks with tiny legs, but it can't walk out of the farm. The hen sleeps on a straw bed. Ben takes rest after the hen sleeps.